Oh, you're waiting. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
because it's the second London game tomorrow. And it's an early one as well, which is good because that means I get to
Yeah.
watch 2 games tomorrow rather than just
Yeah,
the
it
first.
means we have to get up at 6 fucking a.m. if we want to watch the game.
All right, guys, we're live.
Okay.
You're such a liar.
I'm not. Oh, for 6 seconds we've been live.
Yep.
Well, I think that's all part of why people worship Santa as a demon god. Welcome to the Beerumverate. Are we actually live? Are you just taking piss?
No, yeah,
No,
we're actually live.
Okay, cool. Whatever. Just been sat around. We're late on. Hi, everybody. We were late on because Matt said he was going to go and get a beer, and then just sat there for 5 minutes listening to us talk without saying that he decided against it.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
Technically, he made my tweet a lie. I said less than an hour, and it's been more than an hour since I sent that tweet.
It's just disgraceful. How can we ever trust you again, Matthew?
It's gonna take some team building, and
Go on a away day somewhere.
I do know an organization that does that. So if you want to fly out to Minnesota in the bitter cold right now, you can get that done.
Right, let's get through the intro. We are the Beerumverate. We are a group of guys who like good beer and video games. Yay! And we talk about both of them. Sometimes eloquently, sometimes not so, and sometimes Mitch and I just disagree because we are here to promote not drinking
promote,
irresponsibly. Yeah. I tried to change up the intro and just screwed it up. Any beers or brews you may be talking about have not paid us, and we might not like some of them. Last week I found a tropical beer that I actually liked. How amazing was that? And then on that high, the rest of my week was just kind of a nosedive because there was just no way I could reach that heights again. Stop rambling, you fucking idiot. If you would like to be on the show, please message Matt, Mitch, or myself on Twitter or sifted.net, or join our Discord server where we have nice conversations about random stuff and someone's pillow being Skyrim themed, but we'll get onto that in a moment.
like and subscribe, ring the bell.
Yeah, all that shit.
Also, join us live in the chat on every single show. We are always checking the comment section, so we'd love to.
Some of us may be checking the comments.
Mitch does. I don't know about the rest of us. Yeah.
I'm doing a good job here and checking the comments section. So if you do have anything to add to the conversation, we will definitely bring it up in the chat.
Right. Let's go round the room. Mitch, how are things in Minnesota?
First, it's our first spotting of snow, and it sucks because it's October. But October is if you ever move up to near Canada in the United States, you understand that October and April are the months of the year that are the like it's literally a random draw of what you're going to get. You could get snow, and you could get like 10 feet of it, like on my birthday on April 16th. Multiple years in a row, we've had a snowstorm. Or you get like, literally it was 72 degrees 2 days ago. So, and now it's like 32. So, it's crapshoot in October. So it makes Halloween really interesting.
That's why you should stay inside and play video games.
That's what I'm doing.
Matt, how's things in Vegas?
Entirely too early.
But
the sun is right beautifully in your eyes.
That would be the case not just in Vegas, though. That would be the case in the whole of the Pacific side of the United States.
Yeah, true.
Is there anything specific happening in Vegas?
Not that I'm aware of. It's getting a little colder.
Okay.
But
okay. Thanks for keeping your finger on the pulse so that you can let us know what's going on.
I try.
Thank you for the weather forecast there, Matt. Now, McWomble, what's it like in the UK for the weather?
Pissing it down. And we have a new guest. Thank you. Welcome, Charles. Where are you? Why did you decide to do this? Had you not been taking your antipsychotics?
Central New York, not quite sure yet, and most definitely. Forgot to take my antipsychotics. But no, I'm Hamilton, New York, Central New York region, and I like video games and beer, so why not?
Well, that's reason enough for anything.
Exactly.
Right. Do we want to get into embarrassing stories about Matt, because you've known Matt for a while?
Oh yeah.
Longer than Mitch has been on this earth.
This is true.
This is true. Yes.
I take that as a compliment.
bloody young people. So what video game was Matt terrible at in his youth?
Ooh.
That's a good question.
I think we were both pretty terrible at that Alien vs Predator.
For Jaguar?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was rough.
It was a fun game though.
Yeah.
What's the game that and it could be either Matt or both of you, what is the game that you were like, you're most embarrassed to know that you've played? So like example, like I used to play the, what is it called? What's the Frogger Across the Traffic? Is that Frogger?
Yeah.
Frogger,
Yeah,
yeah.
3D Frogger game. I was embarrassed that I played that as a kid and actually liked it. What's yours?
Mario Paint.
Oh. Yeah,
Explain. I don't even know what this is.
It was.
You've never seen
Wait,
Mario
you
Paint?
don't know? Oh my God.
Terrible.
No.
It's the
Yeah.
clunkiest art game that you could possibly ever design, because you're using a D-pad to try and draw.
When did this come out? What system? When? Yeah.
It happened. It happened before you were born, so just forget about it and move on.
SNES.
Oh yeah, that was before me.
I had the mouse.
Yeah.
So we didn't use the regular SNES controller.
Yeah. Was it the officially sanctioned shitty Nintendo mouse?
Yes. Yeah, with a hard plastic mouse pad.
Yeah.
Oh, I see
Oh,
it. Yeah, it looks rough. Oh yeah, that's a funky looking mouse. Honestly, to be honest, people would buy that if they released like a legit mouse looking like that. They'd
Yeah.
go, "Oh my god, it's the Mario Paint mouse! I'm gonna buy it." Because actually,
Yeah, the rabid Nintendo fans would be all over it.
yeah,
Right.
that's how they make their money.
Beers. Matt, you're on the coffee.
Yeah, although I did drink a beer last night called Hemperor, which apparently is an IPA with hemp mixed in with it. You would think that it would taste like marijuana, but it doesn't. It just kind of smells like weed. It's actually not a bad beer, 7%. It got me there pretty quick.
And a little dude, and a little.
No. So we can get into the science, but THC.
I know it doesn't really do anything. It's not the actual.
Yeah, it's not what.
Active ingredient.
Well, it's not.
It's not. It's not.
Matt, I'm disappointed because you like stout, you like coffee, you drink coffee flavored stouts for some god awful reason, but you're actually just drinking coffee this morning.
Yes.
I'm a little sad.
Yeah, I'm not ready to go to AA yet, so.
Only quitters go there.
No one likes a quitter. Right, what am I drinking? This is what I posted on Twitter.
Fierce.
The name is slightly incomprehensible.
Hefeweizen?
That looks like a really cool character that you could put on a TV show. That's like a conspiracy group. Like it's the perfect, like it's either the rebel group or it's the evil guys, like whatever
this is
it
blatantly. Look at all the medals. He could be part of the U.S. military and just serve for one day.
Hey, he could be from the Wolfenstein franchise. That's it.
Yeah.
That could be a Nazi.
Yeah, so Nazi deer. So it's a Bavarian style Hefeweizen, whatever. It's too herby for me. It's very hazy.
Oh, yeah.
And they say it should have a hint of banana, but I'm not getting that. I'm just getting kind of too much floral herb flavor.
See, this is
for my
what
liking.
happens, McWomble, when you get excited about a fruit beer. Now you're like, I need to try all the fruit beers.
This isn't meant to be a fruit beer. It's just kind of, when they say in the notes on wine and things that you're meant to get hints of grapefruit and pomposity.
But hint of banana, it just doesn't sound really good.
Yeah.
Beer with bananas? No.
Yeah, so it's 50% wheat beer and 50% malted. And it was really gassy on the first pour, and it seems to have gone pretty much flat.
That sucks, actually.
I'm not overly impressed. The can impressed me more than the actual beer.
See, that's where
that doesn't mean I'm not going to drink it, though.
Dedication.
Mitch, I'm assuming that at just after 9 o'clock in the morning, you're not drinking.
I'm drinking caffeine. That's all I got.
And you're not just spooning coffee into your mouth.
No. I'm snorting it. I'm just kidding. I've been watching a lot of Breaking Bad lately. Just.
Oh yeah.
Charles, it's a slightly more reasonable time on the other coast. So what's that you've got there?
Left Hand Brewing Company Milk Stout Nitro. It's a what's that? 6% alcohol by volume, and it's pretty fantastic. I love me a stout, and it's breakfast time, so why not?
It's like a brunch time for you, so it kind of works out.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like a little before 10:30. Chipotle's open.
So
There you go.
that's how rich people get away with mimosas.
Oh yeah, brunch.
Oh, bellinis.
Yeah, it's like it's 6 a.m. It's still brunch. I was up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Well, that was the old Rat Pack joke, wasn't it? As if you go to Dean Martin's for dinner, you don't drink after dinner. Dinner's not served until 2 a.m., but there's no drinking after dinner. Right, rumours. I haven't got one. Raise your hand if you have a rumour. Mitch, go with your rumour.
So obviously if you are a big South Park fan like myself, the talks about China going hardcore against South Park recently because they made an episode about South Park mocking the Chinese market and saying how we have to kind of control everything with China because they have to control everything that goes into their country. And so they kind of banned South Park, and then anyone that liked South Park on Twitter is now starting to get banned from China. And so unfortunately, this show will now be banned from China because I liked something from South Park. And so I'm affiliated with this show. And so I'm so sorry. We lose our monetization in China. So we are making $0.
I don't know if that's a rumor, Mitch. I think that's I think that's reality based on what I've seen.
We'll see. It hasn't hit us yet, but I the rumor is I'm about to get a letter from Chinese government to state that I am no longer ever welcome in China. Therefore, but I've never visited China, so therefore I don't know how I would not be welcome back.
Well, I may go and fetch my umbrella and goggles and a face mask and say something about the solidarity of the people in Hong Kong. And then Blizzard won't ever put any adverts on this show. But I don't give a shit because I don't like many of Blizzard's games, and what they did was frankly obnoxious.
One thing I do give Epic credit for, they're not pushing back against anybody that's speaking against the Chinese government, which they've made it really clear about that, which I'm actually proud of a company to stand up against that kind of thing and letting people, especially something that's not something that's going to hurt other people by saying something about that compared to doing death threats. Absolutely ban them from the site.
Yeah.
But to talk about another country, they should not be banned for such a thing. So I'm really proud that
I'd like to hear what Mr. Mythic Griffin's view on that, because he is an absolute Blizzard apologist. They can do no wrong. He is. Anything they do, it's like, no, Blizzard, they're great.
If you're listening, put it in the comments. I want to hear it.
He'll be watching tomorrow at some point. He normally watches on a Sunday when he's not doing other stuff. Rumors? Matt? Charles?
I put one in for Charles. I don't know if he wants to do it. Do you remember what we talked about last night or no?
Not specifically.
Okay.
Something about Sony, I think it was.
We'll skip it then.
All right, sounds good.
What? No,
Okay, well,
it's
that
on.
was-
I'm reading it though. What is this? I want to know.
So the rumor is that
You're such a tease.
Sony's gonna officially support crossplay for Fallout 76, and it's gonna be the only game that's officially sanctioned by Sony for crossplay.
Why just 76?
I don't remember. I
I
was
don't
like,
either.
I was like, that sounds good. Let's put this in the dock.
Were many beers involved before this?
Oh yeah, I was drinking last night.
There you go.
Likewise. I think technically I didn't stop.
There was nap time in between, but
Yeah.
little bit of nap time.
And a shower.
Yes.
A nap, shower, back on it. Okay, that's it. We don't condone that kind of behaviour.
Not at all.
No. Right. What are we actually talking about? Since no one wants to talk about any of my topics, what fucking topic has someone else brought up that I've had to go and do work trying to figure out what it is I want to say?
So our topic today is video game soundtracks and what are our favorites, what are memorable, what makes a good soundtrack for us, and there are different things like that. So we can probably just go around the room to start and just say like, what is your, maybe give a couple favorite soundtracks, but then give your really like your favorite soundtrack and why. So Berkough, because you were the one that brought it up, even though you said it wasn't your topic because you didn't get, you're like, I'll bring it up, but it was my friend's idea, so you can go first.
Let's see. So we got some questions in here. Favorite game soundtracks. We want to do that first?
Yeah, that's what I just asked you.
All right. I think the Final Fantasy games are probably my favorite soundtracks of all time.
Oh, Jesus.
Just how epic they are. Specifically 6, I feel like is particularly epic when it comes to soundtracks. Just that opening tracks, like like that beat. It's just amazing. Coming up over the mountain with the mechs, Yeah.
Is everyone else just going to mention Final Fantasy games?
No, not even on my list.
I was just going to say, shall I just tune out for a minute?
Ouch.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of other games that I really like the Journey soundtrack because it's more atmospheric than anything. That's another one that's not Final Fantasy for McWomble.
Yay! We do this for McWomble. Yeah. Mike freaking Hagar. The soundtrack for Final Fight is absolutely brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
From the very first level all the way through. I'm trying to look up who actually wrote the score, but I can't find it. And I'm talking about it at the same time as doing something else. So let's not do that. But yeah, I absolutely love this. I'm a bit with Final Fight. I don't know if I'm as bad as Matt with Final Fantasy VII, but I do own this game about 6 times. And not just that the gameplay is the hardest cheese old arcade style, whereas just there's certain levels that it will kill you because it wants you to put more money into an arcade cabinet. But the soundtrack is absolutely brilliant. And some other ones from back then, the original Streets of Rage and Streets of Rage 2, those soundtracks absolutely brilliant as well. So I'm going a bit old school on my love for video game scores.
I was gonna say I think the Mega Drive or Genesis in general just had good music because of that sound chip. Right?
Yeah.
Do you guys remember back in the day, Michael Jackson was trying to write some music for, I don't know if it was for Moonwalker or isn't he credited with like coming up with some of the Sonic stuff? But he was messing around with the sound chip in different ways because it was so impressive at the time. And I know that a lot of people say that like nothing really sounds like an original Genesis or original Mega Drive. It's hard to.
Yoko Shimomura. Thank you very much. You may be alive or dead, but either way, thank you very much for writing the soundtrack for Final Fight. Each level is just so distinct, and they're all cool sounding. I could hum quite a lot of the levels, but I won't subject anyone to that because we may get Matt singing the Wurzels at some point if we're lucky. Sorry, YouTube. Right, Mitch, what's a pick from you?
I got two to. Well, yeah, I've technically I have three, but I'm just giving short shout outs to two of them, and one of them as my personal favorite. My favorites would be Resident Evil 2 soundtrack. There's nothing, and I would say the music of how it creates an ominous atmosphere is what really makes it really, really a good soundtrack. But yet the beautiful melody of that safe room from all that tension, there is nothing like it I've ever heard in video games. And I still, when I hear it in other Resident Evil games to the day, I still feel that same relief of stress from just hearing that melody. It's with all this ominous and really tensious music that plays, to get the safe room music that's just a simple piano melody. It's just, there's nothing like it in just changing tone. It's just so good. I love every minute of it. And then another shout would be Tomb Raider's soundtrack. I would say the original Tomb Raider. Just that violin to start on when they get that open space of that da 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 da, so good. It just is. It almost feels like if you can't tell, I was a music major in college, so I'm getting really specific. But the openingness of the violin when it comes in, it almost feels like when because the first time you hear that music is when you get in your first giant open space, and so it just matches that tone with the adventurous sound of what you're doing as the player. I think it does a really good job of creating tensious moments as well with some of its combat music that it has. And I will always remember the secret room music of the ding, like when you're right and you get into that secret room every time. Like those kinds of things, I think really make a video game really special, especially if you remember them post it. And so that's why I say my favorite soundtrack, not my favorite, but I think the best soundtrack, because my criteria of what a best soundtrack would be is a soundtrack that if you listen to it, you remember what happened in those moments. And so for me, it's got to be God of War. Not because it's my favorite game, but when I listen to the soundtrack, I'm like, oh my gosh, I remember this moment because of the music and everything else on top of it. But the fact that the music was just as much as a core component really hit an impact for me. And just the fact that it's only just a couple notes for Kratos' theme is just so minimalistic, yet so impactful in so many different ways.
Going a bit off on a tangent quickly. So do you actually own any video game scores?
Do you mean like the actual music or like
the
actual like that?
The digital soundtrack I've got, because when I got the collector's edition of Mass Effect 3, I got a digital soundtrack, but of part of it, and then I got the digital soundtrack from Andromeda, but I've never actually listened to it because I can't bring myself. It's just too much pain from realizing how bad that game was and what the potential could be.
So I stream music through Google Play Music, so I do have it on my library. So I do have Tomb Raider's music in my library, I have Resident Evil in my library. I do have the orchestra for Final Fantasy in my library. So so then I can listen to orchestration versions, especially the Sephiroth theme. That one's a great theme.
Oh, absolutely. One Winged Angel.
Oh, yep. I'm a sucker for deep strings and big drums and choirs that are just like Greek and just like going all Italian on it. I love it. So anything like that, I'm sold in. But yes, I do have the soundtracks for them. Actually, my phone is to my text message is the place is the Resident Evil 2 menu button where it goes ding.
Nice.
And then I took it off, but my boss's was the Sephiroth theme for his. So when he calls, I'm like, uh-oh.
Yep.
So no, I integrated it into my life, but I don't own any physical soundtracks of any. But I don't own very much physical music. The only physical music I own is something I had to get from the UK because I couldn't get it from the United States.
The one that they did, the white vinyl press that they did of the Mass Effect score, that would be a cool one to own.
I didn't even know
if
they
I
did
owned a
that.
record player.
I think it'd be cool to own, but that soundtrack to me wasn't memorable enough.
I feel like it was. There's, I don't know. It's very distinct from other games in that genre and other RPGs. It just has this sort of ethereal quality to it, like the original does.
Well, I guess for me, I think it's not as impactful.
I am sovereign.
I think I think the reason why we mentioned so far, and we gotta get to yours, Charles, in a minute because we haven't gotten to you yet.
If he hasn't learned by now from watching these that you've got to be slightly assertive. You can't be laid back like that, and because otherwise it would just be you and me, Mitch, just talking the whole entire time.
Yeah, I mean, heck, we just have baseball bats and knock them out. No talking. Or
I get told off by my wife and saying, "You don't let Matt talk enough."
But I think the reason why we're all so far have mentioned older games or games that are not to this current time was because, at that time music had to be a big component of a game compared to, yes, can music still be a big proponent of a game nowadays? Yes, but it's not as stressed as much because you do have such good quality and production values and cutscenes and gameplay and kinds of areas. So you do need the music.
It's kind of like, would I think about buying any film scores? Probably not, because the score in most films is there to carry what's happening on screen. And I think as video games have got more cinematic, parts of the music have suffered because you don't as much relate what you're listening to what you're actually interacting with.
Because those musical scores for something like Tomb Raider, that theme plays multiple times throughout the game. There's not a specific.
So it's a reinforcement there.
Yeah, there's a couple specific moments where you're like, okay, it's playing that music because of this, but it doesn't, because you play it already multiple times. It's not contingent on going, okay, it's only playing this because of this scene. It's trying to impact this scene more, and so that's where I think. That's why I think like the God of War theme with the 3 notes, because it constantly plays in character moments, but still the theme itself is so memorable because it's just so minimalistic in that aspect.
One thing I'll mention before, Mitch, you and I allow the others to talk.
Give an opportunity to.
Yeah. You will be graced by us with the ability to speak your minds. The level of effort that the sound engineers went to come up with some of the score elements and sound effects of Mass Effect is absolutely immense.
Any sci-fi game, it's immense to make interesting sound effects.
So the sounds for some of the sounds for Sovereign, they went out and recorded a creaky lid of a dumpster opening, and then they put that through a mixing desk, and that sound of it going.
I didn't know
that came from them recording a creaky dumpster lid. I mean, who thinks like that? It's absolutely ingenious.
Yeah.
Musicians.
It's like coming up with the lightsaber sounds.
Yeah.
Just these wires. It's just like, what?
Yeah.
All right, Charles, what do you got? What's your
Oh, Matt, you're not
memorable-
allowed to speak still.
Yeah,
no.
so Matt went through he pretty much stole mine, but anything Nobuo Uematsu. But I'm gonna go with Chrono Cross. Yasunori Mitsuda.
That's a good
just
pick.
the Radical Dreamers was just an crazy endgame song. It actually had vocals by Noriko Mitose. I'm probably butchering that, but Chrono Cross for sure. Chrono Trigger was definitely another good one. That was a little bit of Nobuo Uematsu and Yasunori Mitsuda. But yeah, no, that's definitely top of mind today.
I think it's kind of hard to go wrong with 90s Square RPGs, just in
Oh, yeah.
general. Like Xenogears has a pretty amazing soundtrack as well. I found this guy on Spotify that actually did his own orchestration of the Xenogears soundtrack, and I was like, holy shit, I didn't realize what went into it and what it sounds like when a symphony plays it.
Oh yeah.
Rafa, I saw on his Twitter feed, he went to the oh Christ, what was it? The Assassin's Creed orchestral concert.
Yeah.
That would have been awesome.
But how that would have been live, I don't know. But I've only played a bit of Assassin's Creed 3 because I got fed up of how nationalistic and slightly jingoistic it was. Saying anyone who sounds like me is evil, because of course we are.
At that time, you were the enemy, McWomble. You were pure.
But there was loads of people who would have moved over there.
That talked like you.
Who talked like me, who possibly would have been fighting as part of the American militia. I don't know. Some of my ancient relatives could have been doing that because, I don't know, there's, just after the Highland clearances, loads of them pissed off to America. It's like, oh, you're worth less. A human life is worth less than sheep. Maybe I should leave this country. So yeah, it's just anyway. That's my. We talked about video game cliches before, haven't we? It's just he's a British guy, evil. That was a bit of an aside.
Then you got us filthy colonials.
You said it.
Oh yeah.
You should still be paying tax to the Queen, for God's sake.
Oh, yeah.
But people say that we don't even pay tax to the Queen. She's just sat there on a throne rinsing us of money. Anyway, whatever. And then you've got the Meghan Markle conspiracy. You're not. It's going off on a tangent, but
I have no idea what this is.
Because she's American.
So no, I was reading somewhere. There's actual conspiracy theorists in the States that said that her marriage to Harry is a plot by the British monarchy to try and get us to rule America again. So because you have to be born in the US to be able to become president.
I was going to say you should run for president or something, and then
at some point they will have a child, and it will be born in the United States, and then that child will run for president, or that child's child will run for president, and then your government will be run by the English monarchy. It's like,
I have a feeling they will have no chance at election because I feel like people will automatically freak out and go, "We can't vote him in."
We did vote Trump in.
Anyway, that's got
my vote didn't go there, so I did not vote him in.
So, video game soundtracks.
Yes.
Yeah. It's normally me who tries to bring us back. So well done, Matt. I'm the one going off the rails today.
Jeremy Soule, another composer I really like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You're just going to start listing composers.
What
Either
is
that
it?
or just mute me.
I suppose I could do that, but that would be mean.
What's the worst soundtrack? Like what's the one where you got like you're playing the music and it's happening and you're like, God, this is just god awful. Just like make it stop. Like just mute the screen until a cutscene appears and put on something else.
Yeah, that's a good question too. I don't know that it necessarily. There's got to be other stuff worse in the game to get you to be like, I gotta turn this off.
I do have one for sure, and it is Doom, the new Doom.
Really, you don't like the soundtrack for it?
The soundtrack is horrendous.
No way. No way.
It is so bad. Like I played other music instead, and it matched the theme so much better than that crap, to be honest. I love the game. Don't get me wrong. I love the combat. It is so much fun. Not digging the game on that, but the music is horrid. Like literally I'm playing like True Survivor, and that just plays so much better than what they had on there. Like
so you're running through the levels on Doom. Just I've got this idea in my head now. Just going, don't stop believing, and you're doing it's like chainsawing.
You know, so like how over the top that game is. To be honest, that the music need to be like cheesy over the top, and do you know how much people would love that? Like it would be so good. Like Don't Stop Believing to like your first Chainsaw Massacre. You know how much people would love that? Like it's so funky and crazy. It works.
80s hair metal, that would be great as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think that game itself is screaming for a like. So if you've seen Guardians of the Galaxy, they take from a lot of just soundtracks from already people that made music. Yeah. So I think Doom is a perfect game to do something like that, where it takes like hit singles from different genres of music and just put it in and like have just interesting moments of really interesting contextual music where like, I don't know, like have I don't know, a Whitney Houston song appearing on the final boss or something when like the boss transforms, then all of a sudden you have like a I Will Always Love You pop up all of a sudden when he stabs him in the final blow. I don't know, like, or like if the lover was there and she died, and then that's where Whitney comes in. That game is asking for cheesiness, and I just want full cheesy. Give me it, like with the soundtrack.
Well, it's interesting because we started off talking about like composers and traditionally made like soundtracks, right? But there's also the licensed stuff. So
I don't think we don't run into often at all. No, I don't remember last time I've listened to licensed music except for like Kingdom Hearts.
Well, what about Grand Theft Auto, right? That's the king of licensed music in games.
Yeah,
right.
They're radio stations.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I guess I don't consider that the soundtrack though, because like that's just like you can pick it. It's like a radio. It's not like chosen music to play here.
But it is still the soundtrack of that game, though.
Like if they release a soundtrack, are they going to release the radio mix? Is that what they're going to?
Well,
call?
they did.
They did. Yeah, it was
for
each
GTA
of the stations.
3.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that you could actually buy the CDs of the different radio stations.
Yeah.
Did not know that. Okay, interesting.
Then you've got the Tony Hawk Pro Skater games.
Yeah,
Those were all
yeah,
true. That soundtrack.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater got me into Anthrax.
Yeah, that soundtrack was good. That got you in the mood, hardcore. I guess we don't run into that as much anymore. I'm thinking about that, like a more modern game. I'm trying to think of one, and I can't think of one that used licensed music.
On the going back to the Doom soundtrack, I do think it fits. I think again, it's just kind of totally subjective. But one thing that I do on most games that I play, if I'm finding the music to be somewhat intrusive, I do turn the master volume down.
Okay.
So I do tweak the settings. I find I'm more I think about sound design. Going back to the question that you're asking, Mitch, is there anything you find really annoying about soundtracks? Not so much soundtracks, but sometimes sound effects. So if I'm playing a game and then I'm suddenly finding that if I'm firing a weapon of some kind, it's just really loud it's almost as if I need to be down the shooting range and I've got my headphones on, my ear defenders. I will go into the settings and
ear defenders. It's a great phrase. I'm gonna use that from now on when I have my headphones in. They're not my headphones. They're my ear defenders.
Well, look it up. It's a health and safety term.
Nice.
But yeah, so it's things like that annoy me more than the actual music. So if there's something that I'm noticing above what it is going on because there's something that's happening. So I do normally tweak all the volume settings not too long into starting playing the game.
Yeah. I think
what do you, go ahead, Berkough. I was gonna say, what do you think?
I was gonna say, like, I love Geometry Wars 3. And I play the game often enough that the music's not bad, but it's gotten to the point where it's like, well, it's not my favorite music, and I will go into the settings and slide down the music and just play my own music in the background.
Yeah. Personalized soundtracks definitely help games along.
Yeah.
What game was it where they said you could link it to your Spotify?
Was it a rhythm game?
It could have been.
Oh yeah, the rhythm games have soundtracks actually.
He's gonna pull up a plastic guitar. Yeah.
Yep, there it is. Yeah, Rock Band.
My own custom designed. Did you guys do back in the day? Did you know that you could take nail polish and like flick it on your guitar cases? That's what we did when I was a kid. So we take this part off and then we would lay it down and then we would flick the nail polish on. And then my friend did something I regretted him doing. He put lines on these and they're really uneven and it really bugs the crap out of me. But
I mean, that's more licensed stuff too, right? Like
DDR is another one. I played tons of DDR. That's how I learned Japanese music.
Nice.
Yeah, I never really got into DDR, but I wasn't that coordinated, so.
Oh, I was hardcore on that. I loved it. So kind of getting to the theme we kind of been getting to, what is your favorite? I guess we're kind of getting into from soundtracks. We're just getting sound in general, which is fine. So what is your favorite video game sound or your favorite weapon sound? Like, it's just like, this is satisfying when this goes off. And it's just like,
That's yeah.
I'm sorry. What? My ears are burning. What is this sound?
Fanfare.
Final Fantasy fanfare.
Yeah. I play that in my head when I succeed at work sometimes. Like,
my God.
That is freaking awesome.
I will admit there is maybe once or twice in my life that I think about, like, this is the time where Final Fantasy music would kick in right now.
Seriously, yeah. Like, I'll accomplish something and I'm like, all right.
And then I'm always disappointed when I play a Final Fantasy game and it doesn't have any hints of that sound at all. And you're like,
this is not Final Fantasy.
Right.
And if someone says something really unfunny or really sarcastic to you, then go, ha, 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 ha.
No, but I don't like 10, so I'm in the minority.
10 is the bastard child.
10 and 10 too, for sure.
Maybe
for me,
15.
It's the starting level music from Final Fight. And then just go and beat the shit out of some thugs. I could do that all day.
Honestly, for me, it's got to be the Resident Evil like menu screen, like buttons, like that dun 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 down down. Like, that's just so satisfying. I literally go in the menu screen to combine things just to hear the beautiful sounds of the combinations and combining things, because those just buttons sound so good. Hence, I have it as my text messages, and it never gets annoying.
I really like the menu music for the original Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, that menu music's pretty good.
And then
the original NES game.
Well, no, Metal Gear Solid for PS1.
PS1.
Yeah. And then there's that noise when you die, right? Snake.
The dun, dun, dun,
Snake.
dun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, snake.
Yeah.
Or the codex music. The codex sound. It's
Yeah.
like dilling, dilling.
Right.
I think the other one for me is the opening, the splash title screen music from Mass Effect.
Yeah.
Isn't that like a crescendo of orchestration goes right into it? It's like almost like, oh, Halo. How did we not talk about Halo? God, that
Like Halo.
that operatic beginning for their theme. Yeah, I mean, you can't deny that's a really good theme to get you. It makes you feel like you're on this epic of journeys, even though McWomble sits there going, "It's not an epic. I don't like Halo."
No, I'm just thinking about what. Put this in front of my face so it actually comes up. So I would put this in the glass that I was drinking, but the other beer had sediment in it that I don't want to drink and don't want to pour this on top of.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is really interesting. Unfiltered IPA.
Just pour a little bit in the glass so we can see what color. Just don't drink it.
No, but that's wasting it.
Yeah. Don't do
Well, you
that.
could still drink it then.
Yeah, unfiltered IPA. It's hoppy to the point of it being slightly medicinal.
That's
ouch.
gonna be a new descriptor for me. Medicinal.
But it's not over that mark. It's literally just on the line. But yeah, it's really quite interesting. So the colourfulness of the can matches the colourfulness on the palate.
Nice.
And that's the second time in 2 weeks that Mitch was saying something I've interrupted him to talk about beer.
That's totally fine. I guess I'll transition. We were talking about soundtracks for a minute. What game? I already gave one, which was Doom. What game do you think should have an actual like licensed soundtrack instead of doing composed music? What game do you think will benefit more from doing that? I mean, mine's obviously Doom. I want Deadpool theme kind of style music in that thing.
I am logging into my Steam account so I can go through my list of games.
Yeah.
I can't think of one. I'm
Do you think
genuinely
we need
stumped.
more of it in video games, or do we not need, or is it fine the way it is?
I feel like it has to have its place, right? Because
Yeah.
if you're licensing music, it immediately brings a
Cost.
a cost, but a contemporary feel to the game, right? So if you're in a game like Mass Effect,
Wagner's really contemporary.
well, you're not going to be licensing that though. You're just going to have somebody play his compositions, right?
Yeah, I can only think of sports games right now. I just thought of it now. All the sports games have licensed music.
Yeah.
It's interesting how slightly racist those soundtracks are too. Have you ever noticed that like there's certain types of music that go with certain types of sports?
Well, it's just that's what they actually listen to as so I understand where
Yeah,
I understand your
I'm not really
thought
sure
on
that. In an NBA game, you're going to have. NBA 2K is going to have much country and western music in it.
or
Why
Britney
not?
Spears on it.
Why not?
Like, but because like I guess here's the thing where I understand where you're going, but where I now understand and where I was like I understand why they're doing it now. So the Chicago Bears, a football team, I'm a huge fan of. So they never mention them, never wear gear of them.
No.
I've never talked smack about a Green Bay Packer or a Titan. No. But anyways, so they do something that other NFL teams don't do is when they win, they go to this place called Club Dub, where they actually like in their locker room have like music and lights and a disco ball and like party it up in the locker room. And so they've shown some sequences in Club Dub, and most of the time it's the music you hear that you would hear. I mean, sometimes it's a little bit more languaged up where they wouldn't probably purchased the license to put it on a Madden, but the same kind of music you'd find on Madden, that's what the guys listen to in the locker room, except for the occasional electric slide, which they did do once, which was hilarious. To see a 100 to 500 pound lineman doing the electric slide and leading the crew, I loved it.
Oh yeah.
But at first, originally, I think of this is the music I wouldn't listen to, and I'm not a fan of. But it actually does match the theme of what the actual players listen to, and most likely what their audience listens to.
Yeah, and in 22% of all cases, listening to that music makes you buy more loot boxes.
Because they talk about money all the time. Like one song is actually called Money Bags.
Do you guys remember the it was one of the Need for Speed games had a Snoop Dogg remix of Riders on the Storm by The Doors?
I do not.
McWomble, do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Okay, go look it up.
No.
Wait, okay. Why are we looking it up? What's the significance?
Send me the link, for God's sake. I'm not going to go and look it up. I've got things to do.
He's got backgrounds to change.
I've got, yeah. Do you realize how much work I do for this show? Because the backgrounds won't change on my Zoom account properly, I need to delete Zoom off my iPad every time, and then I have to reinstall it, and then I've got to go and find images that I want to use. I do everything here. I mean, Jesus.
So what about this?
Come up with one topic.
I do love Underground though. Underground's a great game.
Oh no, it's just an interesting remix. I remember a lot of people gave it shit.
So what's the original? Is the original song like rock, or what genre is it?
Yeah, I guess it's classic rock. It's The Doors. Yeah. Jim Morrison.
Yeah.
So why? I guess what's the reasoning for your thought on the remix of it? Because you wish they put the original version in instead of like remixing it into a hip hop version to match the genre of style of music that crew listens to.
I don't know. It was just shocking at the time. It was like, oh my God, they did this for this game.
I think I just thought of it now was I think the thing that they're trying to do is, they're trying to simulate that atmosphere, just like the football game is trying to simulate the atmosphere of being a player. You're going to listen to the music or the style of music that crew or group of people usually listen to when they do that kind of activity.
Yeah, I do think sometimes there's not enough rock or metal on them, though. Particularly in football, you can't tell me everyone on the team only listens to either hardcore hip hop or grime or.
Oh no, I totally agree. I just I think they also try to mix in popular artists at the time in those genres. So there's only so much.
I wouldn't be surprised if in the next if someone did a kind of poppy style rap song that mentioned loot boxes, that person is onto a fortune, because 2K and EA would license that in a heartbeat.
Right.
Actually, thinking about it now, McWomble, I usually buy about Madden every 2 years. I think that this last Madden, not this year's, not last year's, but 2 years ago, so that'd be 3. That one had there's a lot of songs in there that didn't actually have rap. They actually had some electric pop rock in there. And actually I bought some of those songs because I remember listening to them and I actually digged them enough. Okay. I'm usually not a fan of rap music. So for me, I usually not into.
I don't know if it was me not bothering. Last time I played Madden and realizing it was a loot box driven piece of shit. With a tacked on story mode where people were chugging Pepto-Bismol on the back of a fucking ute. The only music that I remember hearing, and it's probably because they've got the song list and you can go and you can say, here's my favorites, and they will play those more often. I never bothered to do that. So literally all of them, it felt like I was listening to the same songs over and over again. Because,
that's true.
The one thing I wanted to get onto is is there? Well, Matson already alluded to his, and you, Mitch, have already alluded to yours. But is there one memorable piece of music that you just is a hook to? Yeah, that is from that game, and I remember doing this at that time.
Yeah, it happens. Like, I don't know. Mitch, I'll let you talk. I need to gather my thoughts.
I'm gonna go to Charles. Charles hasn't talked enough. What do you got,
So
Charles?
I've got well, the Tetris theme song.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Which
That one just
in middle school choir, you sing that song and it actually has words to it.
oh yeah. Yep.
And that song is quite annoying when you know the words to it, because I just
I believe it for sure. But Final Fantasy VIII's Liberi Fatale, I think is how you say it.
The opening track.
Yes, that one always brings me back to like that moment. Like I've got it on my Spotify shuffle list, so it just brings me back to that game, like that, the scene with the queen and whatnot. I don't know.
Yeah.
For me, it's World 1-1. Do 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 ding ding.
Yeah.
I just remember playing that so much on the original Game Boy. Is that tune is just etched into my brain.
What about do 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 do?
oh, what is that? Shoot.
It's the second.
Do 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 do.
Yeah. It's the second. It's the
Is it
second.
Mario?
Yeah, second level of
1,
Mario.
2.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. The do 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 do
Yeah. Do 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 do
do do do do do do do do.
But this is another one. The music from Castle Crashers. When Matt was talking about potentially mentioning a abhorrent anthropomorphic creature who talks about the buttons that you press to fucking make me vomit. You know what I mean. You know, deep down, you're just making me feel. The music from this when you're wandering around the world screen, that's another one that is just really catchy and it's just stuck in my head the entire time. And I had forgotten this in my rage against Parappa the fucking rapper.
You mentioned him, not me.
Yeah, you made me do it. But again, it's some of the smaller games that have got more. Oh, who's doing stuff? We might get in trouble. We might get a copyright strike.
Huh?
We might get a copyright strike if you start playing licensed music.
Oh, I'm not gonna play it. I just had to remember.
Yeah. So this is another one for me that it's just I can hum that music and just immediately get back into, and it's a great game as well.
I definitely need to get the remastered version of that game.
No, you and someone else, maybe Mitch, maybe someone whose name rhymes with Bevan Beerumverate, needs to buy the Capcom Beat 'em Up collection.
But you have it on PS4.
Yes, I do.
I want to get it on Switch.
The only console worth owning until the PS5 comes out.
Or the Stadias.
No. You're on your own little island over there. You go have your coconut water and try to live off that.
I mean, we could live in a glorious future of crossplay for everything, and
yeah, you can live in your glorious future of Google owning everything you own.
or live in your gorgeous environment where you force people to enjoy crossplay and you're gonna like it, and that's my utopia. I'm watching a TV show where they're forcing utopias on people. But I already alluded to mine, but it would definitely be the just constantly that soundtrack. But probably the most memorable moment is the Resident Evil 2 self-destruct sequence music. The self-destruct sequence has been activated. This cannot be aborted. All employees proceed to the bottom platform, and then it's that dan dan dan, and there's just that music. It just gets you revved up, and I'm just remembering everything of like, okay, I gotta go get like my fingerprints done here. I gotta go pick up the serum here, and then it's just like. Actually, that's my alarm music in the morning is the self-destruct sequence. So I need to get my ass up and shut it off before I'm done, before I explode. So, but no, that like, and again, I mean, we talked about, but those just like, they needed music at that moment to make that impact. And like, I don't think that moment would have been as impactful without that soundtrack behind it, because it is just so aggressively moving quickly, and it kind of makes you feel like you need to move faster. Even though you have the timer there, the timer is there, like that's still a thing you can see, but the music helps you move you faster and going like, no, I really need to move my ass. I really need to get these stuff done to get out of here because I'm running out of time. So
Charles, Charles, say something.
Hey. Hey.
He's in nearly Canada as well.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay. Do you have a kind of memorable moment other than the Sephiroth theme? And since you're not sharing any embarrassing stories about Matt,
well, I was just going back, and I remember this game Faxanadu. It was NES, real obscure. But that soundtrack, I can't even really put it like, I can't even make the noises it made. But it just brings me back to way back when, I had to have been like 7 years old, and just getting demolished every time I tried to play that game. And then my mom was a gamer too, and she wrecked that game. And that soundtrack, it's just like one song throughout the entire game, so it gets kind of drives on you. I don't know. It was definitely one that brings you back if you played it. But yeah.
I think the ultimate NES soundtrack is from a game called Solstice. Has anybody played this? Okay. Definitely look that one up if you're listening to this, watching it later. The Solstice soundtrack.
Or get Matt to send you the link.
Yeah.
Post a link in the notes on YouTube.
I should do that too. Yeah.
Yeah. Stop half-assing this. Stop getting people to do this for themselves. Help a person out.
We are all lazy. We don't want to look it up.
But we're lazy and selfish.
That's not our job. Your job is to give us the information.
Yeah. Don't say something's good and then say go get it for yourself. Unless it's unobtainable in the United States.
It's like saying I had this amazing Chinese food. I kind of remember what the place is called, but you're gonna have to go find it and look it up and drive there and go get it. Not like, here's the amazing Chinese food place I found. It delivers. Here's the address. Here's the phone number. Call them up.
Menu.
Chinese food. Here's the menu.
Yeah.
Well, poor Matt. We kind of beat up on him right there.
I'm going to get told off when my wife watches the show back. It's going to be why are you mean to Matt? He seems really nice.
All right. Any other last minute music stuff, sounds, anything that you're like, this is memorable. This has got to be in here, or else we are sealing the deal on this thing.
What do you guys think of after you hear Sega?
Sonic immediately.
Sonic, hardcore.
Right? Like that hits you
automatically.
And on that note, gentlemen, the Beerumverate is done.
Cheers.